Hey folks, Cam Hawkins here from Trading Nut. Welcome to this Crypto Nut edition. We've got Andy Peters back on the show. So Andy's one of these guys that's been in crypto since the word dot. Knows an awful lot about it, trades it up and down. So we get into Bitcoin to start off with, and you can skip through this video if you do want to get to the different sections, but please watch the Bitcoin section. It is amazing. So he talks about where Bitcoin is at the moment, which is stuck in a range at about $35,000, and he goes into detail about how it could potentially hit $24,000 and what you need to look out for on the way, or the signs that it is going to probably head to 24. Okay, so he also talks about how you can scalp that range. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm just sitting on the sidelines, there are opportunities here that guys are making money, so you can see how that can happen as well. We then jump into some software that he uses to make sure you can get in the market without being in the charts, and talks about a sign that there could be more volume coming into the crypto market. Why is that good? It just means it's going to be here to stay for a much longer time, if not forever, if you get more people coming into the market, and reasons why there's some signs that might happen. And then to finish things off, he talks about an altcoin that I haven't heard of before and how to trade that, not just up, but also down, and gives you a couple of examples in there as well. All right, guys, enough from me. Let's get on with the show from Andy. Hey folks, this episode is sponsored by City Traders Imperium. Now, what you might not know is CTI has the best funded account conditions up to $2 million, which is the most in the industry. Now, go check out the video I recorded with them to learn more about their incredible package where Trading Nut listeners get an exclusive deal. It includes access to their high-performance trader mastermind and funding program. What are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below or above and go check out that video.
What's up, guys? Andy Peters here. First off, excuse my voice. A little under the weather with a sinus infection or allergies, whatever you want to call it. We've got horrible pollen where I live, so it's kicking my butt. Secondly, thanks, Cam, for having me on the show. I love being here. Love giving you my markups, having some conversations with you. Hopefully, this is information for someone that they can use and it's going to benefit them. And then lastly, if you're not following me, give me a follow on Instagram. It's _Andy Peters _. I do want to add that there are a ton of fake profiles out there trying to mimic myself and take money from people and scam people. I have one profile. I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you to send, money to a relative, nothing like that. So one profile, _Andy Peters _. Let's kick this thing off. So if we look up here, we've got Bitcoin. That's what we're going to talk about today. So if you see the red trend lines, those are where I'm going to enter the trades for the sells. And then anything you see green coming down is where I'm going to have other entries while I'm shorting the market. When I got on with Cam last time, I think we were right here in this zone. And he was like, Andy, where do you think Bitcoin's going to go? And we had this box drawn down here. And I was like, well, most definitely we're going to drop and hit this box. There's really no way around it because we've already broke some massive support up here and we're coming down. And it did. It came down, hit the box. Now, we did come out of the box a little bit. However, I said that we would have to close a candle out of this box and start pushing that direction, at least one or two candles, two being the significance of we're going further down and or up. One being that it's just going down and coming back up into the box. And as you can see, the first candle that we closed out of the box was right here. Closed the second, and then that third, boom, push back down. Same down here, closed one, other one, box. Closed one, other box. So this box, the reason that it's so important is because when we look over here, that is where a ton of our orders and buys and everything was placed within the market before we had that massive run. So when all this kicked off, we had obviously dropped back down back into this zone and broke the trend here at 33,562. That's what led us all the way past $60,000. So because of that, even though we were climbing up, I knew that if we started breaking these massive sells and obviously these levels of support, then we're done. So where are we at now? That's probably the question I get asked the most is where are we at? What's going to happen? Unfortunately, where we're at is not a bad place. It's really good because seeing that we're holding up in this zone where we had a lot of buyers over here shows that a lot of these people and probably some new people are either taking advantage of buying back into the market here because of the price that it is, or they're still holding on strong. They're not letting loose. And that is very, very big for the market because this down here, the 24,670 and the 24,177 has not changed since my last podcast that I did with Cam. I'm a still firm believer that if we start to close now, because now that we see what's going on over here with the market, we can look back over here and see where we're at. So we know that right into here, right there, and then right about in there is where we're bouncing hard. So basically, when we're hitting this zone here and this zone here, we've got a ton of buyers that are pulling up. And as you can see, same thing would happen here. Bam, up. We'd bounce here, support, support. So what we have now is we do have an area where people are putting in a lot of buy orders. So this $30,000 range, which makes sense because at $60,000, half is 30. So it makes sense that when people see something half off, they're looking at it like, okay, you know what, this could be a good entry. Let's buy up. And I think that's what's keeping, you know, the bulls happy at this point, because the bears want to see everyone just shake loose, sell, get out of the market and be done. So even though these numbers have not changed, at least we have some structure on here for support that we know that this is kind of like our uh-oh moment, give or take. So for us, if we close another daily candle out of anything that we see here, we've now got an area that we say, you know what, we can at least take it to there, and then we're going to bounce right back up into here. Now, where it gets dangerous, because we've only bounced 2 times through here, is if we break this zone and then we hit this zone, we cannot close a daily candle below here. If we close the candle daily below here, then obviously my prediction of the 24,670 and or lower Bitcoin takes place. But at least now we've got this little bitty safety net here, and then this is support. So basically, I'm looking at this as support. This is our safety net. And then if it falls out of there, it's gone. That's an unfortunate situation, but that's where we're at. Now, Andy, where do you personally think that we will go based on what you're currently seeing in the market? Well, what I like to see is we have this right here on the daily, and we've broke it. We've came back and tested the bottom of this box to a T. So keep in mind, this box has not been changed. If you go back and look at my original video that I made with Cam, it has not changed. And look, wick at the bottom of the box, and a candle right there. I mean, everything is lining up perfectly with what we need to see within this zone. Now, where this comes in handy is if we start playing from up here to here. So we take those bigger swings and then consolidate down back into here and up the top and consolidate down here. We'll start to see that alt market move. So we want to see the alt market take off, flourish, and all that great jazz. Now, why, Andy, do we want to see that? The alt market is obviously where a lot of people are banking on making their money. You know, when you see your Doge coins, when you see your BTT, when you see your Dent, your Suku, some of the, I'm naming the ones that I keep an eye on. You start looking at your band. You know, you've got people that are in, you know, the Safe Moon and all that crazy stuff. So when you're in those coins, the alt market, to see that flourish, you need Bitcoin to stabilize itself and stay within a market, you know, range that you know is, well, it's predictable. It's easy to read. And right now we're actually in an easy to read market. Just based on this box alone, you could look at your daily candles. And as soon as you hit the bottom of this box at 33,488, you technically are putting in buy orders. I mean, you're taking it all the way up to, you know, $38,000. So, I mean, that's a $5,000 swing that's happened, you know, 1, 2, same for sells, 3, 4, 5. You know, and we're going on, you know, possibly a 6th time. So because of that, that helps a lot of people out when you're sitting here buying and shorting the market. Trust me, I'm one of those people. And this is something that I've talked to my people a lot. So I've got, as you know, I've got a community that I've built. And I say that like some of you guys know, some of you may not know, but I've got a community that I've built. We've got roughly around 200-ish people in that community. I own a trading facility where we do education and live trading classes. And then I've got a Telegram where we're pushing almost 1,000 people, where I'm sending out all this information and people are actually able to use this to their benefit, whether you're buying Bitcoin to hold it or trying to get better entries, you know, to better your position in your Bitcoin, or you're shorting along in the market. There's a lot of movement here happening. Now, something that really else helps a lot is I've got a software with a broker that I use, and I'm going to show you that software of how you're able to look at Bitcoin with what we're currently seeing and with what it's going to do, like on the hour. So let me share my new screen.
Hey, want to trade crypto and gold like the institutions? Well, you can, and it's free for 14 days with Sage Strategies, fully automated trading strategies. Check out their live track records for 25 unique strategies, plus they host everything for you, which is perfect for beginners to advanced traders or investors. Simply sign up for their 14-day free trial today to experience it for yourself.
So as you see here, this is MT5 that I'm on, and what I use this for is this is where I'm shorting and longing the market. Obviously, I'm not in any trades right now. It's 4th of July weekend, been out with my family hanging out. So just taking it easy. But I did want to draw this up because this is how I utilize the software. We have swing high, swing low markers here. And that's basically all I look for outside of zones. So what we have here is as soon as you get that swing high and swing low, you find structure. So our structure is always going to come within the first 10 to 15 candles up here, which this one gives us a wick. We have another wick here. And then we have a wick here that didn't quite get there, but that's where I'm going to go, is here and here, waiting for the break. So we have the break. So now once we have that break, we need a bounce off of this zone right here. And it cannot go lower or close a candle below this one here, that trend. So as you can see, it came down, broke, closed, never closed below trend, bounce right back up, bounce, hit zone, took off. Now, you would be in drawdown in this trade because I enter trade on candle open personally. So personally, I would have been in and right there. Obviously, you'd had drawdown to there. Now you're currently setting at, a decent price, 35,391 from 33,477, which is a solid trade. All off swing high, swing low markers. Now, what's really cool is you're able to use this swing low marker to build a little bit of structure from here to here to here. And that way, this is your out zone. So if it breaks this trend here, then obviously you're out of that trade and you're done. So it's software I use. It's also a full trade management software, meaning you can utilize this. If I throw trend lines over here, once I throw that on my chart, you will see that I've got trend lines. And now I have a full, algo trading. Obviously I can turn that on, turn it off, but it gives me the actual hands-free software. So I can choose to take my trade. I can come here and put in, the start hour and finish hour. Some people only want to trade a specific hour of trading or session, which with Bitcoin, that really doesn't matter because it's 24 hours a day. But you may find that, hey, Bitcoin moves better on a Friday or Bitcoin moves better on a Monday. Trend line is going to be a trend line. Your trigger is going to be a trend line. You've got candle close and or candle open for your open and exit entries. You've got all your stop losses and everything here. You can even go in and say, you know what, I'm going to use a lot size. Could care less about lot size. I want to risk 3% of my account on this trade with a maximum of 10. You click OK, boom, turn it on, perfect. Now you say, okay, if it breaks this trend line, I want to sell. All you do is go in here to this trend line, choose properties, choose sell, put sell all caps, click OK. You see sell there. If this breaks this trend line, it's going to go and put you in the sell. It's going to manage your stop loss. It's going to actually manage the trade. You can have it to where it does a trailing stop loss, and then you've got a pullback. So you've got pips that you can protect. So you can say, at X amount of pips, I want you to protect the trade so I can't lose the trade or take my profit. Or you can come down here and say, you know what, we're going to protect pips at so-and-so amount of pips. And then we're going to, between each pullback that we have, we're going to do, say, 30 pips in that pullback. And then we're going to trail it, leave that on true. So that way, every time it pumps up, say, 50 pips, if you've got 25 pips on the pullback, as soon as it gets back down to 25 pips and then takes off again, it's going to move your trailing stop loss. So you can utilize this like hands-free, don't touch it software. And if you want this software, I've got a link in my profile. So just go to my Instagram page, click in my link that I got there, and then it'll be the first one at the top that says trading software. So you guys will be able to get a hold of that. So next up that we're going to talk about is news articles. I think it's something important. I think sometimes a lot of that has to do, with the market moves. Plus I told Cam that I was going to look at some stuff that I thought could benefit us and or the market. So, here on Forbes, obviously this is a written one by Billy. Do I know Billy? No. Have I read some of Billy's stuff in the past? I have. I'm not going to go into my personal opinion about, what he writes, but I do want to talk about this one particular article. And, he talks about here in this article that, Coinbase is not competing in a free market because they have their fees. They have the way that they kind of monopolize everything. And that there's a company called Strike that's going to let U.S. customers buy and sell Bitcoin with almost no fees. Now, whether or not Strike actually goes through and does what they want to do, one thing that I do want to add here is we're going to see more and more of this. Now that cryptocurrency is becoming a little bit more known, like we think that it's known a lot because we look at past history and we're like, how could someone not know what cryptocurrency is? It's all over the place. People back in 2017 went crazy over it. It's still a very, very small percentage of people that trade and or know how to use cryptocurrency. Like my grandmother has heard about it. She prints out news articles and she'll call me and tell me about something's on the news. However, she doesn't understand it or know how to get it. So the more and more that we get out there with cryptocurrency and it's made noticeable to people, you're going to have companies that come and say, you know what, maybe we just want the people to utilize our platform. Maybe we can do advertisements. Let's take fees away. Now, fees are where a lot of these companies make a ton of money. But once you start having these, companies come in, they're like, you know what, we're not going to use fees on this anymore. Now you've got businesses that say, you know what, we'll use them as a point of sale because there's no fees here. And then maybe they're trying to, upsell you in, managing your accounts for you, or maybe they're, placing ads on their website, and you've got, ad generation. How they make their money, that's on them. They're a big company. They got a lot of bills, whatever they got to pay for, whatever. But then you can see on here, this is where I was talking about like Strike. So just another company that I think is going to do something pretty cool. It says, they'll charge 0.3% for Bitcoin transaction. Coinbase, for comparison, scoops almost 4% from some of the trades. That's a big jump there. And right here it goes. Coinbase, the largest U.S. cryptocurrency exchange with 56 million verified users and $223 billion in assets. That's pretty crazy. I mean, that's pretty wild. So, and it says right here how much money they make from their trading fees. You look at stuff like this, other companies will see where, hey, we could probably come in and monopolize on this. Now, Andy, where's this going to go with Bitcoin? Why are you telling us this? Because the more and more companies that come along that allow you to buy Bitcoin at a lower fee, to almost no fee, or trade Bitcoin with low fees or basically no fee, it's going to push out more users to do that. People will trade more. And when people trade more, what do you have? You have more market volume. You have more volatility within the market. And that's what we want to see when we're traders, because like with me, I believe in cryptocurrency. I believe where it's going. So I'm not one that's trying to buy Bitcoin to turn around and then sell Bitcoin. But things like this just brings more eyes to the cryptocurrency market, which I think is a good thing. And as we see in this news article right here, it says, Executive Chief, Brian Armstrong details plans to launch a marketplace for decentralized apps, a project seemingly inspired by Apple's App Store, which is going to bring more assets to Coinbase. So while, Coinbase is charging a ton of money for their fees and everything, it still brings more eyes to the market. And that's something that I really like. I love people to see cryptocurrency. I love to see people get involved in it. And obviously, you've got to be smart. It will take everything you've ever worked for and leave you very, very sad and depressed. And you start getting FOMO and all that mess. So you've got to be smart when you're trading cryptocurrencies and involved in the market. And you cannot let your emotions get the best of you, because if so, you're going to lose every single time. There's no winning when you think about that. I want to look at one more thing here. So if you follow me on Instagram, the last update I gave was PAX G. It's one that I'm currently looking at. We had right here on this trip, that was our entry. So this was our high risk entry, lower risk entry at the top. So, obviously we entered this at 0.029 and it's currently setting at 0.05. Got as high as 0.06, which is a solid profit on this coin. Still holding my positions that I had here. So I had a position here, and then I had another position at this white line. Now we're just watching it roll. So I know that a few people on Instagram have asked me about this. This would be a great platform of Cam's to talk about it. But on PAX G, I'm looking for this trend line. If we break this trend line, we're going to run this down to the 200, which obviously, the 200, since it is a moving average, will continue to move, but we will come to, so if the 200 is here and we break that trend line, we're still going to tap that 200. What I'm looking for is another entry if we can get above this right here. So would love to see a bounce here, hit this and go up. Fingers crossed. When I say fingers crossed, when it comes to Bitcoin, I can pretty much with certainty look at my charts and feel about 85 to 90% confident on where it's going. When it comes to, some of these altcoins over here, it almost is sometimes like a 60 to 40 fill on it. We've been good on them. If you look through any of the markups on here, we've done really well on them. But like I said, right now with Bitcoin ranging the way that it is in that little bitty tot, box that we have, all it takes is Bitcoin to take a $4,000 to $5,000 drop, and you start seeing coins like PAX G down here follow the same thing and fall down. So if you are following me on Instagram, hopefully some of you guys were able to take advantage of this chart down here and get into that entry, because again, that is a solid run. It's 100% profit at this point from your entries. So Cam, I hope you're amazing. Thanks again for allowing me to be on here. Soon I will get on here and do some other Forex stuff. I love Forex. I really want to get involved in some of the pairs that I'm looking at, more of the psychology stuff. Thanks for having me on here, Cam. If there's anything else you want to see or you guys need, hit me up, message Cam, and we'll make it happen.
All right, folks, hope you enjoyed that video there with Andy Peters. Now, do go and check him out on Instagram and the other places you can find him to stay tuned with all of his crypto updates. Guys, thanks for watching. Do remember to hit subscribe, hit like, and click on the notifications bell. Click all, and we'll see you in a future video on Trading Nut.